Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to The Voice Within. I'm so happy you are here. I'm so grateful you are here. And today, I want to share with you something which was happening past week in my life. I think you're going to find a lot of valuable things in this little reflection. So the past week, I was feeling I don't know how to say it, depleted. I just felt very exhausted by kind of everything. I just needed to step back. I just needed to reassess my thought process, to just anchor myself, ground myself, give myself some presence, some time, some real self-care. I just felt like suddenly everything was just becoming too much. A lot of things are happening. The school is almost ending. There is more obligations. We are preparing for traveling to Bosnia. It's just a lot of things piled up, and I just felt that I just need to slow down, that I'm not owning nothing to anybody. I just can take this week for myself to focus on my own well-being. So I was less present in my content creation. I just detached myself from studying, improving, growing, maintaining, and was just focusing on doing the things which are required for me to be done in my life, around my child, around the house, and all other free time. I was just using it to kind of be with myself more. And over the past years, I have really learned when is this moments inside of me when I really need to be with myself, where my well-being is requiring me to be fully present with myself. I was not able to hear the signals inside of me before until I really started paying attention. And I used to override them a lot, then I would end up in a complete burnout. But over the time, over a lot of attempts to hear myself better, to understand myself better, I came to the place where I know instantly when is the time for me to drop down and just to be present with myself. And before I reached that point in this week, I was promising my son that I will take him to the beach this weekend. And I was really planning to make that bond for two of us, to spend one-on-one time. He was sick, then the school was happening, the traveling was happening. I didn't really have time to just be fully present one day with him. So we made a plan that we're going to do it on Friday. We're going to go to the beach. And Thursday, I saw that his nose is leaking a little bit, like he catch some virus, that maybe he will get sick or no. I was trying to assess what is actually happening. Does he really getting sick, or is just a little bit cold from the AC? It became very hot in Bahrain already. We are 24/7 living on the AC. So I thought maybe this is affecting him. And I was trying to go around to explain him that if he is sick Friday morning, that we're not going to be able to go. And then once we woke up Friday morning, he was kind of the same, not really sick, but his nose is just leaking a little bit. No fever, no visible signs that he's really getting sick. And deep inside of me, I felt that we shouldn't go. I felt that it's better that if we just go watch some movie in the cinema, if we stay at home, make some popcorns, if we just do something away from the beach, water, and hot weather. But he was pushing me, and please, Mama, please, can we go? I really want to go. And I started that war inside of myself. How do I keep my boundaries, which I see that are necessary in this moment? And at the same time, I don't want to disappoint him. I already promised him that I will take him. Even I was trying to prepare him for possibility of us not going to the beach, but he was extremely persistent. And this is not something which I usually give in just like that. Usually I hold my boundary very steady when I say it's no, and he knows that. But for some reason, I felt that pressure of him pushing me. I felt that kind of a little bit of guilt, because I was promising him this thing for a long time and I didn't find time to do it. So kind of I was feeling the pressure to do it on Friday. And we went to the beach, we were swimming, everything was nice. It became windy, so I saw that now it's becoming a bit more dangerous for him to be in the water, on the sun, with the wind blowing. So I packed him, we went home, everything was fine. But this morning when he woke up, I saw that he became a little bit more sick. It's not too much. Fever came a little bit more, the nose is leaking a little bit more, but I cannot deny the fact that I felt guilty for not keeping my ground. I cannot deny that I felt disappointed in myself, that I give it in to his pressure instead of staying steady in my parenting role. And more than that is the fact that I had some plans for Saturday, which were not including him, and I had to cancel all of those plans. And now I didn't have space anymore to kind of feel guilty, because now I had to step into the full responsibility that I made a decision which possibly, maybe yes or maybe no, made his condition a little bit worse, that he got a little bit more sick. Nothing dramatic, nothing too much, just a little bit of fever. But the fact that because of that decision, I had to cancel my own plans. And then I came into some place of resentment. But in this moment, the responsibility was on me, fully on me. I had to hold myself accountable for the decision I made day before. And the decision that I made day before was coming out of the guilt, was coming from fear of being the one who disappoint my child. So I override my own signal, my own wisdom to make him happy. And when I was reflecting today about what actually happened, why it was so easier for me in this past week to choose myself, my well-being, to prioritize myself, but when my son started pushing me, I didn't do it. I collapsed into his demands. Because it's often easier when we choose ourselves when nobody will feel the cost of it. Because when nobody is watching, choosing ourselves kind of feels like freedom. I'm choosing myself, I'm doing whatever I want, but actually it's easy to choose ourselves because nobody is feeling the cost of us choosing ourselves. But when somebody we love standing in front of us with a fully open eyes, with a hope, especially if it's our child, choosing ourselves in that moment, it feels like betrayal. Even choosing what is good for our child, regardless of us, it feels like we're betraying our child. Even when we know the truth that he needs to rest, that he is maybe getting sick, even if I felt it deep inside of my body that it's not right time to go to the beach, that it will maybe cost me more if he goes to the beach, there was a part of me that was whispering and saying, but you said you would take him, but he was waiting for this. But you the one who promised. If you don't do it, he will be disappointed. And then if you don't do it, what you are you even a good mother? And this is what makes it even harder, is it's not no, the one we say no itself, it's that emotional weight of being the one who disappoints somebody, especially our children, the one who changed the plan, the one who holds the boundary, and what comes after that, what is the aftermath of the boundary we hold. All this week was easy for me to choose myself because I was not disappointing anybody. But when the moment came that me choosing myself and me choosing my no will create disappointment, or somebody will be heartbroken like my son to not go to the beach, this is completely different skill. This is completely something different where we have to face ourselves and our ability to hold the tension of that discomfort. It's way easier to choose ourselves when it doesn't cost someone else anything. Nobody sees it, nobody feels it, we don't disappoint anybody, so it's easy for me to choose myself. But when the moment comes that we need to choose ourselves regardless, then the problem comes, then betrayal comes, then trading off comes, where we continuously trading other people's needs, comfort for ourselves. And this past few days I was thinking actually about how often we betray ourselves, how often we trade off our knowing, our wisdom, so we don't make somebody else uncomfortable. It's like there is two voices inside of us. There is a child voice and there is adult voice. And the adult voice is always telling us to keep our ground, to keep our boundaries, to protect ourselves, to say it clearly, to don't go quiet. But then there is this terrified child in us, which is continuously pushing us into the direction of keeping other people's comfort above our own. And on the surface, this doesn't look like a big deal. This doesn't look like a big thing. We do it all the time in motherhood with other people, where we just choose what is easier in that moment, to don't stir the pot, to don't make the problems, to don't be the one who is making drama, disappointing anybody. But there is a real cost of this for our well-being. Because every time when we override that quiet knowing inside of us, every time we say yes when the whole body is actually saying no, we are not comforting somebody else. We are not avoiding disappointment. We are actually abandoning ourselves. Because what I feel right now with this situation with my son, I don't feel good because I comforted him and avoided his disappointment. I feel bad about myself because I betrayed myself, because I knew deep inside of me that I shouldn't do it, that I shouldn't take him to the beach. I feel that real grief inside of myself, that with all the knowing inside of me, with all the awareness, I kind of override myself to comfort him. And no matter how long you are in the personal development, no matter how long you're trying to improve yourself, these things happen. The important part is that we learn to don't shame ourselves, to don't make ourselves feel bad about it, to don't say to ourselves, what's the point? I still make mistake. It's not about perfection. It's about noticing the way I'm noticing it now, that I override myself and what is the real cost of it, that the next time I don't do it. Because the problem is not if we do it here and there. The problem is if we are not aware of it. And the problem is when we are not aware of it, we keep doing it. We don't even know how many times actually we're doing it. And that abandonment doesn't just disappear. It builds up. It turns into the real self-doubt, into the resentment, into the anger, into the feeling of, I don't trust myself anymore. I don't think that I can make decisions. If we continuously are not aware of this and we continuously keep abandoning our truth. And if you think about it, if two people lied each other over and over again, we would eventually have broken relationship. So what happens when we do the same thing to ourselves? When we continuously keep betraying our own truth just to keep the peace, just to avoid the guilt, just not to disappoint anybody, it happens that the true relationship with ourselves starts to fracture. That's why saying no to others, it's not always about them. It's not always about setting the boundary. Sometimes saying no, it's actually about repairing your relationship with yourself. Repairing that quiet trust with yourself that says, I'll listen to myself next time. I won't abandon myself for someone else's comfort. Even if it's hard, even if I feel bad about it, I'll stay on my side this time. This is the way how you actually rebuild that self-connection, self-trust, not by choosing yourself only when it's easy, only when it's comfortable, but by choosing yourself even when it's hard, even when the other people will be disappointed, doing it gently with yourself, with other people, not shaming yourself when you make mistake, and keep staying in your knowing, in your truth, regardless of everything. And that is the kind of relationship you can trust. If you would have a relationship with somebody else in that way, you would trust that person. And this is actually the way we rebuild relationship with ourselves. Not built on the guilt, on the shame of trying to be perfect, but built on awareness and on that inner knowing that I'll listen to myself next time. That will be it for this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed sharing this piece of my life with you. And if by any chance you hear some hammering in the background, I always say this in my podcast episode that there is a lot of construction work around us, and I was trying to record it between the guy who is hammering in front of my house, so the noise is less, but bear with me if it's not completely cleaned and polished for you. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day until the next Sunday. Choose yourself. Bye.